Hey kids, welcome to day 2 of Critters in the Garden. Yesterday we talked about some pests, both large and small, and today we want to talk about beneficial insects. And I'm standing right here in front of some echinacea, which you may remember from last week, probably not, but it's also called purple prairie coneflower, which is probably an easier name for y'all to remember. But on this flower right now is a honeybee, and it just flew away. But the bees love this flower, and there are so many pollinating insects that work in our food forests, and also in the lower garden, and in the raised beds. And I'm sure you all have studied pollination in school. It's one of those wonderful things in nature where the plant gets what it needs, and the insect gets what it needs, and everybody's happy. So in this case, this flower has pollen and nectar for the insects, which they love. And when they get on there, they fly away, they carry some of the pollen with them. Not on purpose necessarily, but when they land on another flower, some of that pollen rubs off. And when pollen moves from one flower to another, or one plant to another, that makes what we call pollination. And when a plant is pollinated, that means it can make a seed. So without pollination, no seed. Without seed, no more plant. So you see, the insects are really, really important, like crucial.
Here's a bumblebee, another really common garden pollinator. And bumblebees are a really good general pollinator because they'll work a lot of different flowers to help them set seed. Right now it's flying from one flower to the next, and it's harvesting the nectar, which is sugar. See how it dips its head down in the flower and it sucks the sugar out.
That one's not totally tiny. It's a wasp, and it's getting some nectar on this. What plant is this, Mark?
Yarrow.
On this yarrow plant, there are tons of little tiny insects that are pollinating that. I don't know if you can see them on our camera or not. There's one just flew into view, maybe. Those little ones right there, Mark, can you get them? Yeah, I don't even know their names. Do you? But there are so many pollinating insects besides bees. To our beehives, and some of those honeybees that we showed you a while ago probably came from here. We have beehives here for the pollination, of course, and also because they're just really fun to explore and learn about, and they make honey. They make more honey than they need to get through a winter, and we get to harvest some of that. If you could stick your nose up near the entrance of that hive, and the bees are so busy right now that they're not even paying any attention to us, and they're not thinking about stinging us at all, but I can smell. Can you smell it, Mark? If you get really close, it smells like something sweet and good, like a combination of wax and honey. In one of our future videos, one of our future weeks, we're going to look inside these hives, and we're actually going to harvest some honey too. So something to look forward to.
So I'm sure a lot of you kids have seen one of these before. That is a wasp, a paper wasp. It has a paper hive that it makes, and a lot of people, they like to kill these or spray them with chemicals to kill them, and it's understandable because they could sting you. But a lot of people don't know that they are one of the most important beneficial insects in the garden, because what they do is they go into the garden and fly around and they hunt the pests that live in our garden. So some of the pests you saw yesterday, these bugs will fly around and eat them and feed them to their young. So whenever you can leave a wasp out of the way where it's not going to fly into you and sting you, it's going to be helpful for the garden.
Talked about bees pollinating plants. We're in a plant right now that doesn't need bees to pollinate. It's pollinated by something else. Not people, no animal needed. Any idea what it would be? Well, look up at here. And what do you see? What's moving that plant right now? The wind. Yeah, this is a corn stalk, and it is pollinated by wind. So this is the male part of the plant up here, and it's making pollen. And the wind blows it, and the pollen falls. The pollen is falling down onto this leaf, and you can see it on my finger. It's like dust. It's just like chalk dust. And they fall down, and some of them are going to land right here. And this is the silk of the corn. Hundreds of silk, it might be 300-400 silks there. Now, each of those silks is a tiny tube, and if pollen falls on the end of that tube, it will travel down the tube and into a little seed, well, what will become a seed down in here in the corn cob, and if it germinates, a seed will grow. So pollen down to here makes the seed happen. Pretty cool, huh? I can see little dust, rains of dust falling off of that thing. You can see pollen all over that leaf. That's the stuff that makes people sneeze. But for corn on the cob, it's worth it. So this strawberry was once a flower. Do you have any flowers to show? And some pollinating insect visited that flower and spread the pollen to another flower and made a strawberry. Now, strawberries, interestingly enough, the only fruit I know that has their seeds on the outside, not on the inside. Those little dots, those are seeds, strawberry seeds. Hundreds of them on this strawberry, but I'm not going to plant them. And no, they won't sprout and grow in my stomach.